Welcome to part 3 of our monthly web series. Today's video will discuss how academic assessment has been affected during these unusual times.
All right. If that's the case, right? Let's say we are running a transnational educations with our university partners. How does the academic assessment works, given the situation? But maybe in next 2 months, 3 months time, if it is continuous, how does assessment works in bachelor's or master's program?
So, I mean, assessment is always something that's very complicated, and oftentimes I think the difficulty is that a lot of students will see assessment or do see assessment as a hurdle or a barrier to them succeeding in their studies and completing their studies, when in reality the purpose behind assessment is to give students the opportunity to demonstrate that they have understood and completed and fulfilled the learning outcomes of a particular course. Now that's actually useful because as a student, when you graduate, you want to be sure that the qualification that you have gives you the skills that you need to be successful in your work that you ultimately have later. And that's what the assessment is ultimately for. It's to, of course, prove to us and demonstrate to us that you as a student have fulfilled those learning outcomes. Yeah. But on the flip side, to give you the confidence that when you graduate with something that it makes sense. And where this new norm, if you like, where this online learning sort of comes into play very much is that students are now in a situation where assessment will change. It will be different. There are many instances where in the current environment, it's simply not feasible to sit everyone down in an examination hall and run an examination. Absolutely. And what that ultimately means is that module coordinators, module leaders, and certainly us in the development of our own foundation program as well, need to address assessment in a very different way. And it is very clear, and all students will have in their past history have gone through different types of assessment. You've given presentations before, yes. You've submitted essays and assignments and all kinds of stuff, right? So it's a matter now of re-looking at the subjects that are there, and certainly a lot of our university partners have done that in the meantime, re-looking at the assessment and formulating it in a different way, which is compatible with the current learning constraints that are in place, so that we can still assess the learning outcomes. The students still have the reassurance that when they graduate from a course, they've learned the things that they need to learn, they will be successful in their workplace, and in many cases even perhaps have acquired some extra skills because they're not just sitting in an exam necessarily. Maybe they're having to do something that's a little bit more, a little bit more diverse in terms of assessment.
Okay,